You're watching Swix Ski Classics, and we're at the third of the 6 events this season. 5 countries visited. We're now down to Germany, and a very warm welcome to the 42nd edition of the Ludwig Lauf event, starting and finishing this year due to a change in weather conditions in the Ettal Valley. Well, a beautiful part of the world, one of Germany's most scenic areas. We're in the south of the country. The snow has been falling just about enough, and we're all ready for some more excellent ski classics racing. Oh, we look forward to having your views on this course and on the race as it develops today. Let's have a quick look at those 2 laps from Ettal to Ettal. 2 sprints, first at 9 kilometers and then at 32 kilometers, with a finish at 46. So the green bib is up for grabs for the sprint as well. That's going to be one of several competitions on offer today. We'll make our way to Grossvank, where the sprint will take place after 9 kilometers. Then marching our way around the valley back into Ettal, around the same course for the second half. As you can see, there's usually quite a big climb in this race, going up to well over 1,000 meters. Due to the weather conditions, that will not be taken on, and this is the course, 46 kilometers. We'll have our winner. Last year, remember, we had our closest race ever on the circuit.
I think to be able to win this race.
We're all ready to take long distance skiing to another level for the 3rd time this season. It is the Swix Ski Classics, the 3rd of 6 events, and we are off. 46 kilometers to go, and the start could be very important here.
Yeah, the first thing is to keep your skis and poles intact, so they don't break, because there are a lot of people, as you see, going together, and there is usually always some kind of accident in the start, not perhaps among the top elite skiers, but a little bit further back. But it seems to go very well here.
Well, we're looking at a fairly flat course today. As you can see, the snow a little sparse on the ground in the early parts of the course. It's for that reason that the course has been shortened today. Remember, almost 3,000 participants here, and it is quite a spectacular sight, despite the fact that we've a bit of low-lying cloud around.
And what's fun about these kinds of races is that you as an amateur can participate in this race together with the world's best skiers. It's quite classic, and a lot of people like that, to be able to compete towards against their best skiers in the world.
Well, it's not just the prestige of competing against the best skiers in the world. 200,000 euros on offer as well. Let's not forget that. There's a big set of prize money around. And as you can see, we have our distance to go graphic up now. So 45.5 kilometers to see who will be the main man and woman today on the course. Course marked out, as you can see, all along the way. This is where the first gaps really will start to develop between the pros and those amateurs that you talked about behind.
That's right.
So having a look at the course yourself, you've had a bit of a time to study it before we came on air today. Slight change. Will that make sure that there are changes in the pre-planned tactics of those who are turning up to race today?
I guess some skiers had planned to use kick wax before, but due to the change of track, when the uphill part was removed, it's a lot more flat, this new track, so I think more skiers now choose to go without kick wax. And it will be quite difficult to break away from the group and get a real gap, since the track is relatively easy, at least for the top skiers.
Well, local skier Andy Gestenberger at the front there. One of the Germans in participation here as we take a look down at Ettal. It really is a beautiful part of the world if you wish to visit it. Again, certainly at this time of the year with the snow, very, very picturesque indeed.
It's very beautiful. I participated myself last year, and I can really recommend to all of you like to do cross-country skiing to go down here and participate in one of the ski classic races. It's a great experience, really.
Well, for those of you who are watching perhaps for the first time at home, wherever you're watching around the world, you're a very warm welcome along with us. And perhaps for those new viewers, it might be good to explain exactly what this sport is about. Of course, physically, there's a lot of preparation before we even get to the tactics and what's going to happen out on course here. What sort of things do you have to do to prepare to be a good long-distance skier?
Well, of course, skiing it's the most important thing, but you need to also, as the guy in the interview mentioned, do a couple of hours in the gym. You need to have a really strong muscles in your not only in your whole upper body, really.
Core strength as well is quite important.
Yeah, the core strength is really crucial. As you see now, the skiers are double poling, and when you do double poling, you use your upper body and your core muscles very much. So that's very important to build up your core strength.
A glimpse of a couple of the Russian marathon team skiers at the front there in the black and green uniforms, led by Andrei Kondrashov, who's the team director. Brand new team this year as well, and it's great to see that this event is growing year upon year.
It is. More and more teams are joining Ski Classics, and it's which is very fun, of course.
A couple of eccentric riders on the right hand side as well. Double poling away, as you said. Eccentric, hard to talk about this event without mentioning them as a team. They are the top team in the discipline, in the sport. They've been around for the last few years. In fact, they've won the last 3 editions of the team from Norway. What is it about the Eccentric team that sets them apart from everybody else? Do they just have the best skiers, or is the setup behind the scenes also that little bit more professional as well?
Well, of course, they have the Auckland brothers, 2 of the dominating skiers in long-distance skiing for the last 5-10 years. So, of course, they have a lot to do with their success as a team, but of course, all the other skiers and the team around, the people around the team is very important, of course. And they've been very successful, and together with Team United Bakeries and Team Coop, they are the 3 strongest teams in Ski Classics.
Of course, Team Eccentric ranked number 1 in the world. Team Coop down in number 2 position at the minute. They are the big rivals, as you say. It's going to be interesting to see how the Auckland brothers get on. At the minute in the standings for this season, Jürgen Auckland is ranked at number 4, but of course the world number 1 in terms of the overall world rankings. Anders Auckland down in number 6 at the minute, 195 points, and when you consider that the leader Simon Østensten has 320 points, there's a bit of ground to make up for this season in the final 4 races.
It is. So yeah, the Auckland brothers have, of course, this had quite a good start, but not as good as last year. So it will be very interesting to see. I think they need to start to show their best shape now if they want to be able to catch up some points. And of course, Simon Østensen and Jon Christian Dahl.
Igor Surin alongside Vasily Rochev. We talked about this Russian marathon team who are setting the early pace. Interesting to see how they work together as well, if they want to set something up for one of their leaders later on. And of course for Russia, it's such an important month with Sochi coming up. None of the men that are going to be competing in Sochi here today, of course, far too close to the Olympics itself. But in terms of the sport in Russia, such an important few weeks coming up.
Yeah, it is really. And Vasily Rochev is a very experienced skier who's been participating in Olympics and World Championships a number of times. But I don't think he will participate now in the Olympics, and that's why he chose to go König Ludwig Lauf now.
Almost 10 minutes into the race, 42.8 kilometers to go. No real gaps developing just yet. What do you make of the pace so far?
I think the pace is quite normal, not extremely high, and not too slow. It's they really, I think they try to watch each other and try to be a little bit relaxed now in the beginning. I don't think we will see anything really a breakout attempt yet. I think mostly on the second lap we'll see some more action, I guess.
Well, we woke up to be disappointed a little by the weather this morning, but that really has not deterred the hundreds and even thousands of people on the side of the track this morning. It is quite a spectacle to see all these spectators out here enjoying the morning, enjoying the skiing themselves, enjoying the scenery that we've been lucky enough to have a good look at this morning, but of course enjoying the great racing that is on the show already. Morte Ada Pedersen of Norway, first man to hit the front.
Yeah.
23rd in the standings this season so far.
Yeah, it's a very good skier, and I think, but he's hadn't had the result he wanted so far, but started this race very good.
Slight uphill section, of course, nothing like the uphill sections that they were supposed to have in this race. A climb of almost 200 meters taken out, and that really does, as we talked about the tactics possibly changing with the route change, that is the biggest change in terms of what we expected today and what we're not going to get. That huge climb that really could have been a good launching point for an attack perhaps later on in the race.
Exactly. So now there's not that many good points along the track for suitable for a real attack. So it will be quite hard to break away.
But when you consider as well that even with that part of the course that was in last year, then we have one of our closest races ever. Without that, we could be ended up in a sprint finish, couldn't we?
Absolutely, absolutely, which could be very exciting.
Well, this is interesting here. Pedersen just managing to get a bit of a gap for the first time in the race between himself and those behind. He has one member of his team with him as well. Could this be a team tactic?
Yeah, it could very well be. It's very interesting.
Concerted effort, you could see there, real effort face as he was looking into the camera, and he must have, talking 10 to 15 meters.
Yeah, and we can see his team member in Team Coop, he tried to be in the lead of the chasing group, slowing the pace down, but Team Centric didn't buy that, so they immediately starting to chase and try to close the gap.
Well, it's interesting with the sprint coming up as well, because Morten Eder Pedersen is second in the sprint standings. He's on 60 points at the minute. Our leader, John Christian Dahl, is on 120 points, so perhaps a little bit of an escape to try and get himself a little closer to that green bib a little later on today. And anyway, as far as the race lead is concerned, he is considered a dangerous enough man to want to close this gap nice and quickly.
Exactly. I think they've learned from the first race where Rickard Tunnell, who was quite unknown, he managed to break away early, and the chasing group didn't really take it very seriously, but he managed to win. So I think they will not let Morten Eder Pedersen go too far.
Well, that has up the pace, as you saw from that graphic there, 19 kilometers per hour here, and we're on a slight uphill section as well of the course.
It is it's quite fast to be uphill like this. The average speed usually, depending on the snow and weather conditions, is well around 25 kilometers per hour.
On Morten Eder Pedersen.
And this is looks like a real attempt, actually. It is.
Well, of course, he will have grown up with sports in and around him. He's from Lillehammer, where the Winter Olympics were held back in the 1990s, of course. Skis for Lillehammer Ski Club, of course, turned professional with Team Cope.
It's very early, though, to break away, and it is very difficult to go by yourself for such a long time, because we really have 1.5 hours or so left of this race, so it's not an easy task to do that.
Well, this man was the winner of the Ski Classics youth jersey last season. He won it back in 2012 as well, so he has shown quite a bit of promise in the overall discipline and winning races, of course, if he's going to get that youth bib. But of course, to do it amongst the seniors and going for the yellow bib itself, he has 12 seconds at the minute. It's a decent enough early advantage for the Team Cope rider. 18 minutes in, but as you say, Andreas, it's so hard to hold this off for 46 kilometers.
It is.
Certainly on wet snow as well.
Yeah.
But we'll see how he gets on. But it's good that we've had attacks early on. Plenty of action here.
Exactly.
At König Ludwig Lauf. Under 39 kilometers to go. As you can see, 18.5 minutes. And the visual distance and the gap on screen is growing.
Yeah, it seems like it's growing, and
these are the tactics by his team as well. Put a man at the front, as you say, try and perhaps slow things down a little, allow him to get a gap in front.
Absolutely, and it's very interesting to see how the other teams respond to that.
Well, the first sprint is coming up. Grasfang at 9 kilometers. What certainly is going to happen here is that unless there's a bit of a miracle, Pedersen is going to take the sprint points.
Yeah.
That certainly shakes things up as far as the green bib is concerned.
Yeah, we can see the group behind is spreading out. It's a sign that speed is quite high.
Speed is high, and thanks to this man. If you're turning on a little late, you're getting out of bed late, having your breakfast this morning, Morten Eder Pedersen has got away here, and he has a very decent lead in the minute indeed. He had 12 seconds not so long ago. Looks to have grown since then, as we look at the visual distance on the screen.
Yeah.
Going at a very good load of knots. Being chased down by a few of the centric skiers. Remember, Morten Eder Pedersen second in the sprint standings. The winner of the best young skiers bib over the last 2 years. The man from Lillehammer in the north of Norway, here in Germany, doing a very good Sunday morning's work indeed. That is the difference. He's certainly conserving advantage, if not making it a little bigger. 38 kilometers to go. 1 kilometer until we come to the first sprint.
It's like in cycling, it is an advantage to be part of a group, working together and helping each other to chase a single skier. It is, of course, a very much of an advantage, but it takes some cooperation in the group, of course, if they want to close that gap to Morten Eder Pedersen.
I'm glad you mentioned the cycling, because if you're watching this for the first time and trying to figure out how the sport is working, it's very much a Tour de France of the skiing world.
Yeah, it is, and I think in the future, as we mentioned, I think we'll see more and more team tactics during this kind of long distance races.
Well, the yellow bib, of course, signifies the overall leader of the series. We have the pink bibs for the best young skiers, and of course the green bib worn by the sprint leader, who today is John Christian Dahl of Norway. It's his compatriot that's trying to put him under pressure here though. Morten Eder Pedersen racing for Team Cope. Cope, a Swedish team though, it's worth mentioning. Of course, team director David Nielsen. A big, very big in fact, on ethics in Team Cope. There's been a lot of talk about ethics in this sport, of course, and that's the bad part of the cycling world we mentioned, of course.
Yeah.
And they're keen not to go down the same nasty road that unfortunately the cyclists have been down the last 15 to 20 years or so. And Team Cope, one of the teams who really is pushing the no doping message.
Yeah, definitely.
So 6th last year in König Ludwig Lauf. It's been a nice progression for him. One blip in 2012, let's say, where he finished 24th. But as you can see, riders and skiers behind working together to try and close this gap, and it looks as though they're doing a half-decent job at the minute.
Yeah, it hasn't grown that much. He's keeping a distance of perhaps 15 or maybe 20 seconds at the most.
Around 300 meters to go before he hits the sprint. There is the 200 to go banner. And the hungry pack chasing behind. To my mind, they're closing down pretty well here.
Yeah, it is a big risk he's taking, more than Eide Pedersen.
Hungry for sprint points as well, you get the feeling.
Yeah.
And they're doing a decent job to try and get John Christian Dahl at least in the second or third place to take the rest of the points. Here comes the sprint. Interested to see if he's going to be cool. Just over 100 metres to go, and there's a real concerted effort behind here to try and take Morten Eide Pedersen's points away from him. He looks to be slowing by the stroke as he keeps double poling. Into 90 metres to go here. The sprint line just in front of us, as we can see. Looks as though he'll probably make it and take the points. But in the end, you can see in the yellow full uniform, green bib, we have John Christian Dahl looking to try and take second place. Pedersen takes the first sprint points. It will be our sprint leader, John Christian Dahl, who comes in second place. The overall leader, Östensen, in third. Chicherev of the Russian team, Pavlov in fifth, and the veteran, 40 years of age, Retsach from the Czech Republic, in sixth at the minute. So a lot of big names up there.
It is. Almost all of the big names are there. Now we see Daniel Tinell, Jerry Alin. They are all part of the leading group. Jürgen Brink as well. Yeah, we can say that Morten Eide Pedersen is caught up by the group now. And I wonder really what he thought about breaking away there. Did he just want to have sprint points, or was it a real attempt to go all the way? But then he felt he wasn't strong enough. They got up and then he just slowed down. It's a big risk to take. You spend a lot of energy. So now he spent much more power than the other one in the group. So now we need to stay smart, perhaps, during the rest of the race.
Well, when you look at John Christian Dahl as well, he had teammates around who were helping him stay up at the front, looking after him. Of course, once you're in that big group of favourites as well, all working together for the common goal to try and close down Morten Eide Pedersen, who was the big danger to them all.
Absolutely. And now we're seeing the top three women passing, and not surprisingly, Serena Boner is first.
That's her teammate as well, the best young skier at the minute, Steva from Norway in third place. Feli in second, Nyström in fourth. Centric.
Looks like Laila Kveli and Tony Staver is going together.
We're talking 23 seconds behind as well, so Berner really is well ahead already. And she's leading by quite a long way in the ladies' standings. She is.
She's been quite outstanding the last couple of years in ski classics, Serena Boner.
Well, Serena Boner, just to put this into perspective, 370 points, the team co-rider, and of course 240. Susanna Nyström is their closest rival. We're talking well over 100 points lead. And, well, if she's to win this race as well, she's almost put the title to bed already, halfway through the event.
Yeah, she just need to stay healthy during the season. Then I think it will be extremely difficult for any of the other women to really challenge Serena Boner this season. And now we're going into perhaps the toughest part of the track, where it's a little bit sloping uphill, and now it's the second lap, so the skiers are getting a little bit tired. So I think here's a part of the track where we'll lose some skiers in the top group.
Economy team Vitargo's Dementiev is up there, the team run by Peter Kuznetsov in their second season in the ski classics, and this will be something special if Dementiev could do something here. They have both men and women in their ranks as well. They've got experience from last season, which was all about learning, I think, and getting used to the format for them. They were pretty positive, and their man put in, as we saw, a big strong upper body attack, as you saw a moment ago.
Here you can see it's quite hard double poling uphill.
Hardest spot of the course, you think?
Yeah.
Dementiev has done well to get a half-decent advantage here.
He's a very strong skier. Not that experience in long distance races, but done very good results in traditional distances through the years.
19th after the first two events, just inside the top 20, 77 points from La Diagonella in Switzerland and Marcialonga in Italy. Just ahead of Billy Impola of Team Cope in the standings. He is the second top ranked Russian, Alexei Dvovskin, in 12th place. He's Russia's leading skier in the Ski Classic Series this season.
And I think the other skiers should take this attempt seriously. It's a strong skier. They shouldn't let him go that far.
Interesting to see once we get a chance to have a look at the distance from overhead, if the snow will allow us, to see what sort of concerted effort there is behind. There is movement, you can see, and perhaps a bit of panic in the chasing group.
Yeah, there was some skier trying to increase the speed, and we can see Dementjev is double poling between the tracks, allowing it back in the track.
Still really putting the power in.
Yeah, you can see now he tried to get back in the track, but he felt it was too wet, and the glide was much better beside, specifically where behind the scooter.
Here's the top lady again. Selina Buna, comfortable leader.
And as you can see, this is a very tough part. Arms are starting to ache.
Again, trying to find the right line. Has a comfortable lead, plenty to play with. It's about managing her efforts here for Selina Buna and making sure that she takes all the points on offer for the win today.
Exactly.
She's done the damage already instead in terms of forcing the pace. She has 19 kilometers to go. Approaching now this sprint gate that we saw, so he's going to take some sprint points as well on the second time around.
Yeah.
It's not a good day for the sprint jersey wearer, really, who's going to see his distance cut down altogether, only coming second in the first sprint. John Christian Dahl. He's going to hold on to the bib for the next race, of course, but his lead down to 45 points. As we see just behind, this is the chasing group. And it's funny you mention those team-centric skiers, because we saw them working together so well, and so brilliantly, in fact, to try and force the pace before the end of the first lap, and that really just has disappeared now.
Yeah, it's quite surprising. It looked like they were going to do some good team cooperation, but it ended. So now we couldn't see that many team-centric skiers in the leading part of the chasing group now.
Sprint number 2 then. We're about to see Dementjev come through the line. We're going to get another time check, certainly a much more accurate one this time, an exact on the line time check. And you can see there is perhaps a little bit of an increase in pace behind. So 1 hour 24 minutes and 11.2 seconds for Dementjev. The chase is on behind. There is the green bib yet again of John Christian Dahl, who just wants to make sure that he gets a few points if he can for second or third place to make it a much better day.
John Christian Dahl is a very talented sprint skier, so I'm not surprised he's in the top of the sprint.
And that would be his aim for the season, you feel, to hold on to that green bib?
I think so. He's as I see, it's a favorite to win the Total Sprint award in Ski Classic.
Time gap past 45 seconds. The gap really not going down. We thought it might be. If anything, he's got another couple of seconds out of this. Here we go. Jon Christian Dahl's going to come in second again on the sprint. 56 seconds now. It is a very good gap.
Yeah, it is. At least it's stabilized.
If it was going to get any big, then we really would be talking about almost a nailed-on victory for the Russian. So it's going to be interesting to see now exactly how long they take before there's a real concerted effort to try and close it. Some sort of collaboration behind, at least, to try and work together as one of our amateur skiers stumbles across the sprint line.
Yeah, there's still time to catch up with the Menchev, absolutely, but they can't wait too long.
A little look behind as we see Tufa Tuftal Staver.
Oi.
Oh dear,
oh,
and she's hit the ground. Taking
not very good.
Taking the main challenger with her, and that can only play into the hands of our leader Sveina Bøhne.
At least she managed to not break her poles, which could very well happen. It was a little bit clumsy, I would say. It shows a little bit inexperience, but it's something you learn how to manage. But it's easy, perhaps, when you start to get tired, your legs and arms perhaps not obey your mind totally, so easy to make such kind of mistakes.
Sveina Bøhne up in front, a good minute and a half ahead. Not worried about what's going on behind. It's all playing into her hands as the advantage as she is ready to approach the sprint. So she'll take sprint points as well. And of course, as far as the women's classification is concerned, she will be very much remaining in the yellow bib. One high-profile crush of the day will benefit her. 32.4 kilometers into the race. And now she's doing a bit of drafting at the back of this group. Almost an hour and a half in. Long, long way before the challenges come through. Visual contact, that gap certainly looks to be almost 2 minutes.
Susanne Nyström is the second skier here, and team-centric dress, and there we can see Tove Toftal Staver just a couple of meters behind Susanne. It will be an interesting fight between the two of them. Looks like Susanne Nyström has advanced a bit during this race. She was behind Staver before.
Well, she has, and Staver at least making sure just behind in the pink bib as well that she's keeping in contact with the group after her fall. It's easy to get a loss of confidence, I suppose, in that sort of situation.
Yeah, exactly. So it's important to stay calm. A lot of wet snow. Keep on falling.
So they've gone through Hasvang for the final time. The group behind approaching that point. Again, said it was going to be close to 2 minutes. Wasn't a bad guess. Which is not good news for Nyström and the likes behind. I have to say that following a disaster, this race has gone for them.
Yeah.
More than 2 minutes in the end. Oh, way more.
Serena Bonner is keeping increasing the gap.
Well, you consider she had around just under a minute and a half after the first lap. And she's put almost another minute into them. The good news for the ladies behind is that it's an ever-increasing numbers group of skiers, so they get that bit more help from the men who are with them.
Yeah, that's right.
Kveli and Nyström second and third, Staver in fourth, Brocheva, Budjakova Griffnings.
It will be a really interesting fight for the podium behind Serena Bonner. There's four women together really within 5 seconds.
That gap going down all of the time. Dementiev, he's got to fight to hang on, we know that. But how long he fights, I'm not too sure. It might be very, very quick indeed before this is swallowed up. You can see on the shot on the left-hand side, we're talking a matter of meters and just a handful of seconds now. And that is it. Dementiev's gap is gone. He is swallowed up. And the race, with just over 7 kilometers to go, comes together once again and bets are on again.
That's a good attempt, but it didn't go all the way. I think we will have difficulties in winning here today, Dementiev.
Well, for Dementiev, you feel it's going to be hard work, perhaps even to hang in on the group now.
Yeah.
Certainly if their pace is going up all the time.
Yeah. He has used more energy than all of the others.
You often see it in races of any kind and in sport. The man who has put the effort in during all that time, then once overtaken, finds it very hard just to hold on with the main pack until the end. But we shall see. 7.2 kilometers to go. There's room, there's time. And in these adverse snow conditions, anything can happen as we're on the third event of the Ski Classic season. Kjetil Dahmen doing a lot of the work for Lise Planglo at the minute. Centric, making sure they have big presence behind. They have, of course, the leader, Simon Østenstad. United Bakers have Jon Christian Dahl not too far away in green. Quick glance at the ladies' race as well behind. Nervous looks around, and those Centric skiers fading a little in the ladies' race. And the second place battle certainly between the Czech and Norwegian skiers. We shall keep an eye on that, with Adela Budikova in second place.
And Staver is right behind her, third place.
Is that Nyström just behind her as well?
I think it's Nyström's team member in Centric. When Nyström is, I think, just a couple of Nyström has perhaps faded a little bit. It's Kveli, yeah. Nyström got tired, as it seems.
So Kveli, the third of those three ladies battling it out for second place.
Yep.
In the meantime, it's as we were in the men's race at the front. Kjetil Dahmen leading things. United Bakeries in a good position behind with Jon Christian Dahl with that green bib on. The overall leader looking good as well, Simon Østenstad for Centric. He has teammates in and around too. Look out for Christopher Carlson, who's been in a very, very good place. There's Anders Auckland in second at the minute for Norway and Centric.
It's not optimal for Dahmen to be in the lead for such a long time now, closing into the finish.
Well, you have to feel that he's working for a teammate here if he's in the lead for so long.
I think so.
That teammate is Christopher Carlson.
Exactly. And we have. I haven't seen where Jürgen Brink is, but if he is a part of that group, he'll be very interesting to watch when it approaches the finish. He usually finishes very quickly.
Less than 3 kilometers to go now on the König Ludwig Lauf race here in Obergamma. It's the Edel Valley, it's beautiful scenery, but it has been snowing for most of the race this morning. Conditions far from ideal. However, we are ready for what is expected to be a bit of a sprint finish. Just under 2 hours of racing has passed. It is Anders Auckland now trying to put his stamp on the race as we approach the final 2.5 kilometers. Just behind him is Christopher Carlson. You see the long period on the front coming to an end for Kjetil Dahmen. Oh, with a fall. That is dangerous. One of the amateur skiers goes down. And I think as we look behind, Auckland making sure that none of his teammates goes down, and that was a close shave. We do not want to see that.
No. I couldn't see if any of the top skiers fell too. It was an amateur at least.
Well, one of the amateurs went down. That could have caused a huge, horrible pile-up. Thankfully, it looks as though, and the initial reports we're getting is that none of the main men were held up there. It's Auckland on the front with less than 2.5 kilometres to go. Just behind him, Christopher Carlsen of Norway and Lise Plan Go. 1 hour, 52 minutes in. And United Bakeries hovering behind with several of their yellow-clad skiers ready to try and do something. The Russian marathon team all ready to try and make an attack as well as one of their skiers steps out. Here we go. All attacks really must be monitored now.
That was a smart move from he saved a couple of meters going into that curve.
Well, planned attack, and United Bakeries thinking about responding. It's Igor Sorin. A couple of those in yellow step out. They're trying to try and close things down as Callisson's doing the work for Lise Planglo and the rest of those skiers at the minute. 2 kilometres to go now. The pace is high, and this is where the important decisions are going to be made.
Now you need to have a good position. The last 2 kilometres.
Fifth as we go into this is our overall leader, Simon Østensten, looking very, very well placed indeed for Centric.
Yep. And we see Donny Tinel is taking his own track now. Now he gets into the same track. He needs to get a better position now for the sprint.
So it's Sørin who leads from Callison, just behind him Økland. Økland looks to be doing his best to lead out the yellow bib wearer Simon Østensen, who is being protected by the man indeed. Økland looks behind, makes sure his man is in the right place. One man who has faded is Jon Christian Dahl, cannot see his green bib at the moment. It's still Sørin. Quick look back to the ladies' race, and it's becoming a very, very frenetic battle for second place behind. Really, really hard fought. And Stava is now back in second again.
Yep. 3 women still together. Kveli, Balto and Staver.
Sørin in the meantime on the left-hand side of that 2-shot picture is being overtaken by Økland. Here's Tuffa Tuffdal just ahead of Burikova, and of course you mentioned Kveli in 4th place it is. Remember, the women's race is wrapped up as far as the winner's concerned. All the action in that shot for second place. This is where the action's taking place though, up the front. Auckland in front. Carlsen just behind him. 4th place at the minute is the leader of the overall competition, Simon Østensten. Anders Auckland, 195 points, 6th overall, number 1 in the world before this season.
And I guess I think we have the winner among the top 6 skiers now. Those are the skiers in the right position.
So we approach the final kilometre. And as Andreas Johansson said, if you're not up there, you're not in it at the moment. Anders Auckland, the current leader.
And we know that Jon Christian Dahl is an extremely strong sprinter. He will be difficult.
Well, of course, he's not in the optimal position at the minute. Final kilometre, 1k to go in the König Ludwig Lauf. Anders Auckland, winner of the overall series already several times, is leading as we're into the final K. Over the bridge, and 800 metres now remain. Callison is in second place. United Bakeries have men present as well. Simon Østensten in 4th place at the minute. Østensen in the white and green with a yellow bib as leader of the overall series. Looking a little further back, looking for Jon Christian Dahl, and I'm afraid he is well out of it.
Yeah.
Top 20 for him, and look at the snow falling here at the finish. It is thick, it is fast, it's time to get out of the way there if you're an amateur, because the pros are coming through and we're all ready to contest the sprint. Auckland leads. So difficult. Now here comes Dahl. He's made a run for the front places.
Yep.
Going to be difficult down the left-hand side. Look out for that yellow bib of the main man, Simon Østensten. Östensten in yellow, perhaps looking favourite to add to his points and keep his lead. Ökland on the right hand side will of course want to catapult himself up into the top 3 or 4. Callison on the right hand side for Lise Blango. This is a perfect situation now for Team Centric.
Yeah.
3 of the 4 at the top of the race are in green and white. Auckland followed by Callison. Oh, a little bit of a moment there between Callison and the overall leader, but it is the overall leader that keeps upright and up and ready. Simon Östensen. Is there going to be enough snow as they come over the final bridge? That's the final question. Last minute preparations being made and we're about to find out. United Bakery's coming to the fore. But it's a perfect position for Simon Östensen at the minute and second. Has to just make sure he hangs on to this attack into the final few hundred metres now. It's an exciting finish as we predicted right here in König Ludwig Lauf. One amateur skier down, has to get out of the way. Luckily, it's after the main contenders have gone. This is an excellent effort though from United Bakeries, and it looks as though they are going to take the win. It will be Östensen in second, United Bakeries with the win, and Kjølstad with first place wins. Tinel in second, Auckland fourth, Callison fifth, Pedersen sixth, Redzach, Damen and Berdal with Sorin making up the top 10. But what a win for Kjølstad and United Bakeries. They had yellow uniforms up to the front throughout the final few kilometres. It was a great effort from Östensen, who will keep his lead at the top, we feel. Yeah. But what an exciting finale.
It was difficult. It was a lot of snow in the track, and the first round was just racing real slow because of the snow, and it was very difficult. But on the second lap it was a little bit better, and then it started to snow again, and but I'm so happy. Victory, wow, that's fantastic.
Meantime for the amateur race, well, there's quite a bit still left to go. First lap being finished only just by a lot of our competitors, and in the midst of all those amateurs, I wonder if they know what's going on there. It is the women's race being won. The yellow bib gives it all away. Saraina Berner smiling as she double poles. She knows that another celebratory moment is upon her.
Yeah, she looks quite happy.
Team Cope rider with a big advantage and enjoying her morning out. A lot of people have crossed the border from Switzerland. We're not too far away from the Swiss border here. And of course, a lot of people hoping to see their heroine come home and take the victory. That they will see. She's about to cross the improvised bridge that we saw being finished just around 5 minutes ago.
Yeah. You can see the amateurs fighting, and they have 22 kilometers left to go. Half of the race, 23.
Be half a bottle of champagne down by this lady by the time the rest of them get to the finish line.
Yeah, she earned it today.
And she certainly has, as she's into the final few hundred metres. A big day for Saraina Berner. Another one to add to an ever-growing collection of big days out on the long-distance skis. 2 hours, 7.5 minutes, and Saraina Berner and Team Cope are about to celebrate yet another victory. 46 kilometers skied by Saraina Berner. The Swiss superstar across the line to take another victory. Celebration with it. She is the winner of König Ludwig Lauf 2014. Oh, look at this. And the margin, with a fight behind, is going to be very interesting. The margin much smaller in the end than we expected.
Yeah, I think
she obviously took the foot off the gas in the last few kilometers.
She must have done that. She knew the victory was safe.
Well, Stava in second place, so it's a 1-2 for Team Coke. Veli in third, Rocheva of the Russian team in fourth. Budikova was going so well, and who was second for a large part of that second lap.
Yeah.
Finishing in fifth place, 34 seconds down, and Saraina Berner perhaps just wanting to enjoy the moment with her teammate Stava there. She's had a good morning.
Double victory for Team Coop among the women.
It was a bit special. It was I guess not so fast in the men's group in the beginning because of the snow, so we were not so, or I was not so much behind. Had a good group, and then I had some incident with the lapped skier and missed my group and was skiing on my own on the last 10k, and I knew I had a big gap, so I was just kind of controlling it, and it was not so much at the end anymore, but it's hard to really push when you're on your own. I mean, I won, and that's great.
Final results. Johan Kjustad of United Bakeries and Norway. It's the Norwegians that dominate. 5 out of the top 6, with Daniel Tinell flying the flag for Sweden and just about making the podium as well. Simon Østenstern with another very good race, 2.4 seconds behind in the end. And how about the ladies? Serena Bøhner winning ahead of Tuva Tuftel Stavra, 1-2 for Team Cope. Veli in 3rd place, Robcheva 4th, Budikova in 5th. And then come the Swedes, 6th, 7th and 8th. Nyström, Greffings and Roberto in 6th, 7th and 8th. Time for a quick family photograph. And time to look forward to the big one in Vasaloppet in a month's time. Everything building up to that. Of course, that after there's a quick hop to Norway before the season finale at the end of March. There's plenty more from the Swix Ski Classics throughout the season, but what we've seen over the first half of the season has provided us with plenty to think about. From Andreas and myself, Rob, thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.